She kept repeating the same sentence for 2 hours. It started like any other Tuesday. The fluorescent lights buzzed quietly overhead, and the scent of dry erase markers hung in the air of room 2B at Hillside Middle School. Ms. Rowan, a soft-spoken English teacher known for her calm demeanor, had just handed out a vocabulary worksheet when she noticed something odd. 12-year-old Ava Jennings was sitting upright at her desk, unmoving. Her pencil hovered just above the paper. Her lips trembled slightly before she whispered, "The door is still open." At first, no one noticed. The classroom was full of casual murmurs and the quiet scratching of pencils. But Ava repeated it again, louder. "The door is still open." This time, heads turned. Ms. Rowan walked over, concerned. "Ava? Are you all right?" No response. Ava just stared ahead, eyes locked on the far corner of the room, repeating the same sentence in a voice that was flat, almost mechanical. "The door is still open. The door is still open." Again, and again, and again. Students began whispering, backing away. Some laughed nervously. Ms. Rowan crouched beside her, gently touching Ava's hand, but the girl didn't even flinch. Her eyes were glassy, far away. Not a single blink, just that same phrase, over and over. The school nurse was called. Then the principal. Then an ambulance. By the time Ava was taken to the hospital, she had said the sentence over 400 times. Her parents were distraught. Ava had never shown signs of mental illness. She was a bright, kind-hearted girl who loved painting and took care of her younger brother like a second mother. But now she lay in a hospital bed, still whispering the same words. A psychologist was brought in, then a neurologist, then a child trauma specialist. They ran tests, MRI, EEG, CAT scans. Nothing. No seizures, no abnormalities, no chemical imbalances. Just Ava, staring blankly at the ceiling, repeating, "The door is still open." But there was no door in her hospital room. 3 days later, her speech suddenly stopped. No explanation, no transition, just silence. Ava blinked once and turned her head to the window, eyes adjusting as if waking from a long sleep. But when her mother asked her what happened, what she remembered, Ava said nothing. She didn't even seem confused. That night, while Ava was asleep, her father went into her room to gather clothes for her hospital stay. While searching, he discovered something odd, wedged behind a dresser. A leather-bound journal, one they had never seen before. It wasn't Ava's handwriting. Inside were fragmented phrases, drawings of doors, repeated sentences in cramped, frantic lettering. "The boy knows. Don't open it. The door is still open. It never closed." Some of the pages were ripped out. One had smears of red ink, or something darker. Her father brought it straight to the doctors. They were baffled. But Ava, she just stared at the blank hospital wall, as if waiting for something. The hospital had strict visiting hours. Security was tight. But during a late-night nurse check-in, Ava was found smiling for the first time in days. She was whispering again. But this time, something different. "He's here." The nurse looked around. "Who's here, sweetheart?" Ava raised a small hand and pointed to the window. They were on the 3rd floor. Outside, standing completely still, was a figure in a dark hoodie, face obscured, just watching, silent, motionless. The nurse screamed and called security. By the time they arrived, the figure was gone. When Ava was asked who it was, she replied with a single word, "Ethan." There was no Ethan at her school. Ava's mother dug deeper. She went through old class photos, elementary school art projects, birthday party videos. And then, she found it. An old photo from Ava's 1st grade class. There, sitting beside her, was a boy labeled Ethan Hale. But Ethan had died 7 years ago. He'd gone missing after school one rainy afternoon. Police had searched the woods behind the school. They found his backpack near a storm drain, but never his body. The case had gone cold. Ava had been 6. She had never spoken about it. Ever. Her mother realized Ava must have repressed the memory for years. But something or someone had opened that door again. After another episode of whispering, Ava was given a coloring activity to calm her down. She drew a crude image of a house, a door, and something shadowy reaching toward it. One nurse, who had grown fond of Ava, gave her a small voice recorder to talk into if she ever felt scared again. Ava clutched it like a lifeline. 2 days later, the nurse listened back to the recording. It started with static. Then, Ava's voice. He's in the walls. He walks when the lights go out. Then a whisper not in her voice. You said you'd keep it closed. The nurse dropped the device. The audio was sent to a sound technician. The second voice had no clear origin, no pitch pattern. Almost synthetic. Almost stitched together. The technician refused to listen to it again. With a tip from Ava's drawings, investigators returned to Hillside Middle School. Ava had drawn a strange layout, a hallway that didn't exist. But when contractors examined old blueprints, they found that years ago, a maintenance access room near the east stairwell had been sealed off during renovations. Behind the drywall, they found the room small, concrete, cold. Inside were remnants of children's drawings, scratched words in the walls, a small, broken voice recorder, and a shoe labeled, E. Hail. When Ava was told about the room, she simply nodded. It's closed now, she whispered, and that night, for the first time in weeks, she spoke in full sentences. She remembered. She had seen Ethan that day years ago, crying near the old stairwell. He told her someone was making him go into the dark room as a game. He asked her to promise not to tell. She hadn't. She kept the secret. Until now. And somehow, part of her always knew the door was never really closed. Her sentence, "The door is still open," was more than trauma. It was guilt. It was memory forcing its way to the surface. 2 weeks later, Ava returned to school. She was different, older somehow, quiet, but peaceful, until her younger brother began waking up in the middle of the night, repeating, "The boy is still watching." Their mother checked under his bed, checked the closet. Everything was normal, until one day, she found her son sitting at the window, eyes wide, pointing to the trees. He says the door opened for someone else now. Back at Hillside, a construction crew works on tearing down the east stairwell for renovations. As one worker chips into the foundation, he finds something buried in the concrete. A second journal. And on the first page, in a child's handwriting, "The door is open and never closed. Tell Ava. It's her turn now."